Now let's discuss what I have done in the today's backend. Yesterday I have discussed the validation middleware where we have parsed the schema to validate before sending it to the controller. So today a- I have promised you to discuss the schema today, and now this schema I have built today, and we will discuss how the schema is built to validate the user input. Now let's dive into code what I have coded or implemented here for the validations of the user input for the different purposes. For example, suppose a user want to uh, create a new user, so what kind of the structures we should follow so that we can easily create the user. And second, suppose when user want to update his profile, what he can see should follow to successfully uh, update the user data without the loss of data. So that's let's see one by one what each of the structures denotes. Basically, schema means what? Schema means the structure. You can say the structures that we have to follow. Okay, so let's see first one. First line. I have imported the job as we have already discussed. What is a express a middleware package which is used to validate the user input by creating the custom schemas. Now let's see first function is create user schema. Suppose an user want to create a user after the login. So what which type of data a user should take to create an user. Users should have the body structure. That uh, body structures should have that body structure should contain the name field and the email field. For the email field, for the name field, it should be string of size 2, minimum size should be 2, and the maximum size should be 100. If suppose the length is less than 1 character, then it will simply return an error with the prompt. Name must contain at least 2 characters. Suppose if it exceeds the maximum limit, that is 100 characters. It will return the name cannot exceed 100 characters. Now let's see the email section for email field. Email also be string and it should follow the email format. It here dot email is inbuilt. We check the all the email format that it should contain the at the rate and dot com like method, something like that. If it is not followed, the invalid email address will be written as an error. Now, second function is update user schema. Suppose the user want to update user of the profile, it should follow the update user schema structure. Update user schema should contain params or body. Params means the params path parameter that contains the user ID. In the params field, there should be and ID field. ID should be string and unique. Where UUID is uh, a library which is under the unique ID for each user. So ID should be string with the uniqueness. And it's if it contains the body, then it should have name and email section. It should name should be string minimum uh, length should be 2 characters and maximum should be 100 characters. But here one new field is added dot optional. It means if there is no username, then it's fine. Without the username, it can validate to and proceed further for creating or updating the user. Similarly, email is also optional for the updating the user. It will only require the valid user ID that should be string and unique. And here one another method is dot refine. Here inside this method we have function that pass the data as a parameter. If suppose the user input data, if user input data is empty, then it should contain at least one field to update. If a user data is empty, then it will return an error with message provide at least one field to update. So that's uh, how the update user schema work to validate the user input. Now, third one is the user ID schema, which is used to validate the user ID. Here we have params which contain a ID field. As already discussed, ID should be string and unique. If it is not unique, then It will return an invalid user ID as a message. Now, fourth one is the get user query schema. This schema will validate the query sections of the user request. This query will contain page field, limit, sort, and order. Where the page should be in the URL. At the end of the URL, we have the page section. After the question mark, I control the page section, page equal to suppose to, which is a string, but here it is converted to the number. It is converted to number. In the URL, it is page number is string. So if you use chat dot was dot number converted to number, and if it is not valid, suppose it is alphabet something like that, then it will return a message, return error with a message. Page must be number, and it should be integer, and the length should be minimum volume length. Uh, the page must at least one, and in the default, as the default, if there is no page number of pages, the default will return one page. Now let's see, look at the limit field. It also in the URL, it is also a string. Suppose if we want a page number 2 which contains the 10 users in each page. So limit is 10, which is a string in the URL. First, it will be converted to the number. If it is not valid, then it will return a message that limit must be number. It should be in integer and the minimum and maximum values are less than 100 and greater than 100. The default will be 10. Means each page will contain 10 users by default. Now suppose the URL path contains is short, will be sorted with the name, then email and created date. By default it is sorted with created date and order, which order it will show users in the by default it will show in the assembly order. That's all about the different schema used to validate the user info. And I have also created an schema for authentication to validate the login authentication. Let's see, I have also in the auto schema of the a important feature which is used to validate the user info. But I have declared a login schema. After that, I use set.object. Inside, I have declared a body structure which contains the email field and password field. As I have already discussed, email should be string and it should follow the email structure. Now the password also should be string and it contains uh, minimum 6 characters. If it not contained, then it will return the error with the message password must be then at least six characters. That's the simple two lines schema for a login schema. After creating the schema, I have used and route all the schemas. For example, in the user.route section, I have imported the yesterday created validate middleware and the different schema as I have discussed in the today's class. Different schemas for different purpose. In the user route, I suppose request user request is to create the user, but it should validate the create user schema. After that, sup- suppose is it passed the create user schema. All the fields contained are according to the user schema. After validating all the fields, it passed to the auth section, where auth section what it will do, it will authenticate the user whether it is a valid user or not. After validation, then it will be passed to the controller with the handling of the assigned user. This create user consuming fault with the validated data. And then it will reach to the where user controller that we are here. We have called the create user and create user imported from the controller user.controller.js. This request goes to the controller section and here we validated data will pass as a request in this function. So where again the controller will call the services sections with the create user services. Here flag.validated.body the data validated data will pass to the services. If all are goods, then it will retain some data. Suppose it return data, then the controller will return status code with 201 and with the message success to with the data that user variable content. So that's how I have a route after creating the schema and I have used in all the routes to first validate the user input and then authenticate it. After that, it will goes to the controller section. From the controller section, validate with the validated data, it will pass to the services section. And if all the business logics uh, valid, then it will pass to the repository sections where the data are stored and according the required data stored user creates or deleted. Uh, After repository action, some data will be returned according to the request, and that data will be stored here in the variable user, and the controller will return with the status code. That's the flow of how the schema is used here and how the flow of work with this schema. That's all for the today. Thank you.